Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Hadith number 9. Hadith number 9. And this is also related to the masjid as well. This is the hadith of Atiyah. She said that we used to be told by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "Kunna umirna." Look at this. It's not that we used to be encouraged. We used to be commanded by the Prophet alayhi salatu wasallam that we go out to the two Eids. We go and pray the Eid. Okay? And that we send all of the awatiq wa dhawati al-khudur. We send all of the women who happen to be awatiq, which means girls that are just about to become, that are just reaching the age of puberty. They haven't reached yet, but they're just about to reach the age of puberty. And similarly, the girls that have reached the age of puberty and now they're full-grown girls. Otherwise, they're supposed to be remaining at home. But when it comes to the day of Eid, the Prophet ﷺ, he said that they should be going out. Okay? He commanded these women to go out for Eid, and even the woman who happens to be on her menstrual cycle. She even goes out to the Eid prayer, but doesn't go to the musalla, stays away from the musalla, but hears, and the Prophet ﷺ, he explained, Atiyah, she said, فَأَمَّا الْحُيِّض فَيَشْهَدْنَ جَمَاعَةَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. As for the Huyyid, that's for the women who are on their Hayd, then she should simply be in attendance with all of the other Muslims as well. And she should also bear witness to the dua that the Imam will be doing in the Salah. But they should avoid sitting around the Musalla area, within the Musalla area. Okay? So this goes to further show how much the Prophet ﷺ would actually encourage the women attending the salawat. Okay? This is very important because, again, as I said, in our times there are some places in the world which do not permit women, and there are there's also another issue. Generally, people, as a bare minimum, discourage it. Okay? Personally, I haven't found any hadith of the Prophet ﷺ which discouraged women from going to the masjid. There are a hadith which say, وَبُيُوتُهُنَّ خَيْرٌ لَهُنَّ, and their houses are better for them. But if you look at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, these women, they knew that their houses are better, but they're going to the masjid. So that means that their houses are better. Maybe there's another interpretation for it. Okay? And in some of the shuruh of hadith, I found another interpretation of this. And that is that perhaps their houses are better in terms of security. Okay? I have to admit, most of the scholars don't agree with me what I'm saying over here, but I believe this might be the better interpretation. And that is that perhaps their houses are better in terms of security. It's more secure. And it's more comfortable, especially with all the tasks that a woman has. But if she wants to go to the masjid, then so be it. Because think about it, if they were better in ajr, why would the sahabiyat be going to the masjid? That's what I really want to know. Because we had sahabiyat going to the masjid. And we had even the family of the Prophet ﷺ going to the masjid. In the very next hadith, we will discuss that inshaAllah. But we have even family members of the Prophet ﷺ going to the masjid, right? And now we'll come to hadith number 10, and that is going to further illustrate this point. And that is that the Prophet ﷺ, as Salama said, whenever he would say salam, he would avoid turning immediately, and he would stay in his place for a little while. This hadith is in Bukhari. And Ibn Shihab al-Zuhri explained that the reason for this was because behind the Prophet ﷺ would be women praying as well, as in behind the men, that is. So the Prophet ﷺ would allow them time to get themselves prepared and get out and leave. So that the men, when the Prophet would turn, there's a greater chance that the men start to get up now and they start to leave as well. So the Prophet would give them a little bit of time so that the women can get off and comfortably leave. Remember, in the time of the Prophet, there was no barrier in the masjid. Okay? And this is another thing. Now it's become like we have to have a barrier. I mean, if you don't have space, if you have the space, you have the ability to have two different musallas, one for women, one for men. Alhamdulillah, at that time the Prophet's mosque was a very small place, right? Alhamdulillah. You don't have a place, then The Prophet ﷺ, when he had a small bit of space, this is how it was. The Prophet would wait for the women. Everybody gets up and leaves. Then the Prophet would now turn. Okay? This goes to show what? That women are coming to the masjid. Now, really, logically speaking, sahabiyat, the best of the women in the world. Is it possible they know that at home there's more ajr for me, and then they walk to the masjid only for the purpose of salah? I mean, I know some people say this, it doesn't make sense to me personally. Some people do say this, but it personally doesn't make sense to me. What makes sense to me is that, and this is the opinion of some of the scholars, such as Ibn Hazm as well, that the women will be getting reward, a great reward for going to the masjid, okay? And that perhaps the hadith which say that their houses are better for them, perhaps it's referring to security, safety, and their obligations at home as well. So a woman that doesn't have those obligations, she wishes to attend the masjid, alhamdulillah. To further illustrate this point, there's another hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, and that is the hadith of Anas. The Prophet went inside of the masjid. دخل النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فإذا حبل ممدود بين الساريتين. Okay? The Prophet ﷺ, he came to the masjid, and then there was a rope over there that was placed between two pillars. Okay? So he said, what's this pillar? What is this rope doing over here? And they said, this is the rope of Zainab. Okay? So whenever she gets tired, she ends up hanging on this rope. And the Prophet ﷺ said, no, rather untie this rope. Each one of you should only pray as long as they can do so comfortably. After they get tired, then let them sit down. Where was this happening? In the masjid. So now Zainab, she doesn't know that it's better for her to do this at home. And when the Prophet ﷺ sees this, he doesn't say, didn't she know it was better for her to be at her house? Rather, he corrects the problem that was there, and that was the rope issue. He said, okay, take the rope off. If any of you feel tired, then you should just sit down and pray, right? Or if you should sit down and stop praying if you so please. So based on these, I personally have a belief that it's encouraged for women to go to the masjid. That's what I personally believe, and there are scholars in the past, albeit minority of scholars who said this, who also had this particular view. And I think it's good, especially in our times. Like, what I mean by this is that in a time where women are going everywhere anyways, the only place we're going to discourage them is from the masjid. I mean, really think about this. People don't think about what they're saying. Your wife is going to the mall. She's going to the market. She's probably working. And then when you come to the masjid, you say, no, discouraged for you to go to the masjid. Better for you to stay at home. I mean, really, I think this is not fiqh. Maybe in a time where women are completely staying at home, there's nothing else except house, and then you quote these hadiths, still I can say, okay, it makes a little bit of sense. But here you are telling your woman, go outside to the mall, go outside and get groceries, go outside and do shopping, go outside and work as well, and every other thing, all right? And then you say, as for the masjid, it's not good for you. It's better for you to stay home. I mean, this is, wallahi, to me, this is qillatul fiqh. Even if someone quotes a faqih, wallahi, this person is not a faqih, because they don't understand the context of what they're quoting in, right? They don't understand the context within which what they're quoting, right? I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us the tawfiq, to practice, to convey. Jazakumullahu khairan for listening. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een.